Let's talk about real power, the kind that shapes decisions, influences outcomes, and quietly shifts the direction of entire rooms. It's the force that makes you the person everyone watches, the one whose words carry weight even before you speak. There's a secret to this. Law 4 from the 48 Laws of Power: always say less than necessary. This isn't just advice, it's a strategy that's been used by the most influential people in history. It sounds simple, but it's a game changer. Most people underestimate the impact of restraint, but those who master it stand out. The more you talk, the more you risk saying something foolish, revealing too much, or giving away your intentions. Words, once spoken, can't be taken back. Power isn't about being the loudest in the room, it's about making your words count. Sometimes a single sentence can have more impact than a long speech. When you speak less, you force others to fill the silence with their own thoughts, assumptions, and even their fears. The silence becomes your ally. They reveal themselves, while you remain a mystery. Your silence makes you unpredictable, and unpredictability is intimidating. People project their own ideas onto you, often assuming you know more than you do. Their curiosity and uncertainty work in your favor. You become profound, thoughtful, and intimidatingly powerful. Your presence alone can command respect and attention. We're diving into this law, how it worked for kings, backfired on heroes, and shaped the destinies of leaders throughout history. Silence can be your greatest weapon, especially when everyone else is desperate to be heard. It's a tool that can shift the balance of power in any situation. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. In moments of conflict or negotiation, silence can unsettle your opponents and make them reveal more than they intended. It's not about being shy, it's about being strategic. Choosing your words carefully is a sign of strength, not weakness. Control the conversation by controlling your words. Let your silence speak for you, and watch as others scramble to interpret your intentions. Let's see how this plays out in history and in life. How the greatest leaders and thinkers have used silence to their advantage. And how you can too. This is a masterclass in the art of strategic silence. Less is more, always. Ready? Let's begin. Ancient Rome, a civilization built on power, pride, and the art of persuasion. Gnaeus Marcius Coriolanus, a war hero celebrated by the elite on the verge of becoming consul. His victories on the battlefield had made him a legend, admired by senators and feared by Rome's enemies. All he had to do was win over the common people, the plebeians whose voices could make or break a leader's fate. But Coriolanus couldn't keep his mouth shut. His pride blinded him to the power of words. Instead of humility, he insulted the very people whose support he needed. He mocked their struggles, dismissing their hunger and pain. He told them they were unworthy, turning admiration into hatred. The crowd that once cheered for him now jeered, their respect replaced by resentment. His rivals used his own words against him, painting him as an enemy of the people. They twisted his speeches, fueling the flames of public outrage. Banished from Rome, Coriolanus lost everything. Not because of his actions, but because of his words. His tongue, not his sword, sealed his fate. His fatal flaw wasn't lack of courage, but lack of verbal discipline. He never learned that silence can be more powerful than any speech. He thought his deeds spoke for themselves, so he could say anything. He was wrong. Words, once spoken, cannot be taken back. His words undid all his heroism. Years of honor and sacrifice erased in moments of arrogance. By saying too much, he handed his enemies the perfect weapon. They didn't need to invent lies, his own voice was enough. He could have ruled Rome. Instead, he died in exile, betrayed by his own tongue. His story became a warning whispered through the ages. The lesson? Words can build you up, or destroy you in an instant. Even the greatest hero can fall with a careless phrase. Power is lost when you talk too much. Sometimes the wisest move is to hold your tongue. Silence could have saved him. In restraint there is strength. Don't let your mouth become your downfall. Speak less, win more. Let your actions, not your words, define your legacy. 17th century France, King Louis XIV, the Sun King, mastered the art of saying less. At his first council meeting, ministers expected a grand speech. Instead, Louis listened, his face unreadable. He asked short, pointed questions, never revealing his own thoughts. Ministers, desperate to impress, revealed their ambitions and secrets. Louis gathered information, learning who was loyal and who was a threat. His silence was a trap. They exposed themselves while he remained a mystery. When he finally spoke, his words carried immense weight. Because he spoke rarely, everyone listened. His pronouncements ended all debate. He created an aura of power and mystery simply by being quiet. Lewis controlled every situation not by talking but by listening. The one who controls information, not conversation, holds real power. Strategic silence made him a legend. Sometimes the less you say, the more powerful you become. Why does saying less work? In a world where everyone is eager to be heard, the power of restraint is often underestimated. Speaking less isn't just about holding your tongue. It's a deliberate strategy that can transform the way others perceive you and the outcomes you achieve. First, silence makes people uncomfortable. They rush to fill it, often revealing more than they intend. When you resist the urge to jump in, others start to reveal their thoughts, their worries, and sometimes even their secrets, just to break the silence. You become a listener, collecting valuable information. By simply paying attention, you gain insights that others miss, and you start to see patterns in what people say, and what they leave unsaid. Second, speaking rarely makes your words valuable, like diamonds, not pennies. When you do speak, your words carry more weight, and people listen more closely, knowing you don't waste them. People assume your silence means deep thought, projecting wisdom onto you. They start to wonder what you're thinking, and your presence becomes more commanding without you saying a word. This creates an aura of authority. Third, you maintain control. When you're not constantly reacting, you can steer the conversation, set the pace, and decide when to make your move. Once you speak, you're committed. Silence keeps your options open. You can weigh your words, consider your strategy, and avoid being trapped by hasty statements. You can observe, adapt, and wait for the perfect moment. This patience allows you to read the room, understand the dynamics, and respond with precision when it matters most. Let others make mistakes while you stay in control. By holding back, you give others the space to reveal their weaknesses, while you remain steady and composed. The more you talk, the higher the chance of saying something you regret. Words spoken in haste can't be taken back, and sometimes a single careless comment can undo hours of effort. By being economical with words, you protect yourself from misunderstandings and conflict. You avoid being drawn into arguments or saying things that can be twisted or misinterpreted. Silence is self-preservation in a world where one wrong word can cause disaster. It's a shield that keeps you safe from unnecessary drama and protects your reputation. Strategic silence isn't about being passive, it's about being smart. Let others reveal themselves. Make your words count. When you finally speak, your message is clear, intentional, and impossible to ignore. In the end, less really is more. By choosing your words carefully, you amplify their impact and create space for others to show who they are. Use silence as your shield and your weapon. That's the real magic. In a noisy world, the quietest voice often speaks the loudest. Many have talked themselves into disaster. A little power, a little confidence, and suddenly you think you can say anything. That's when your mouth becomes your worst enemy. You make promises you can't keep, trying to impress. In job interviews, nervous chatter makes you seem insecure. Over-explaining reveals weaknesses or contradictions. The powerful candidate is concise and confident, letting their actions speak. In business, desperate salespeople talk too much, sometimes creating doubts that didn't exist. A master salesperson knows when to stop and let silence do the work. In arguments, lashing out with words escalates conflict. The calm, careful listener holds the power. Let others exhaust themselves, then a few well-chosen words can end the debate. Talking too much exposes you. Silence is strength. Don't let your words sabotage your success. Speak with intention, not impulse. Remember, less talk, more impact. Power is in restraint. Andy Warhol, the pop artist, was a master of strategic silence. In interviews, he gave short, vague answers, turning questions back on the interviewer. This made him an enigma. People projected their own theories onto his silence. By never explaining himself, Warhol became a puzzle everyone wanted to solve. His silence made him seem deeper and more mysterious than he may have been. The less he said, the more people talked about him. This is the Warhol effect. Say less, become fascinating. In a world of oversharing, the quiet one stands out. Sometimes, mystery is your greatest asset. Russia, 1825. The Decembrist rebellion fails. Leader Kondraty Ryleyev is sentenced to hang. The rope breaks, a miracle that could mean a pardon. Instead of staying silent, Ryleyev shouts a sarcastic remark about Russian ropes. The Tsar, hearing of the insult, orders the execution to proceed with stronger ropes. Ryleyev's words seal his fate. His clever tongue becomes his undoing. Sometimes silence is not just wise, it's life-saving. In critical moments, let the miracle speak for itself. Don't let pride or wit cost you everything. A single unnecessary comment can change your destiny. Power is knowing when to hold your tongue. Ryliev's story is a chilling reminder. Words can be fatal. Silence in the right moment is survival. Speak only when it matters. Sometimes the last word is best left unsaid. Silence isn't always the answer. Sometimes, saying nothing can be seen as weakness or incompetence. The law is say less than necessary, not say nothing at all. If your boss asks for input, silence won't help. Concise, thoughtful words will. In some cases, words are a smokescreen. Magicians and politicians use them to distract. Flooding a conversation with words can be a power play, but use it sparingly. In personal relationships, silence can hurt. When someone needs support, listen first, then respond with empathy. Communication builds trust. Silence can create distance. The key is balance. Listen more. Speak with purpose. Know when to be silent and when to speak up. Power comes from reading the room and adapting. Use words wisely, not excessively. Strategic silence is powerful, but so is meaningful speech. Master both and you master influence. How do you use this law without becoming the awkward silent type? Start by pausing before you speak. Ask yourself if your words add value. Practice asking questions instead of offering opinions. Draw information out of others. Let them do the talking. When you speak, be concise. Ditch the filler words. Organize your thoughts before important conversations. Precision makes your words powerful. In emails and texts, keep it brief. Quality over quantity. Get comfortable with silence. Let others fill the gaps. Embracing the pause shows confidence and control. People will listen more when you speak less. Small adjustments make a big difference. Strategic silence changes how people perceive you. Less talk, more influence. Master this law and watch your power grow.